Hello, my name is Jan Wyckoff. My maiden name was Medlin, and we're going to be looking at tapes, some of which were taken in Carbondale, Illinois. This would be January 6th, 1967, and my father was 53 years old, and that's him, Elmer Medlin. The little boy is Stuart Medlin, his grandson. The dog, I believe, is called Sweetie Pie. And there is my mother. That was Edna Medlin. And there I am. That is my grandfather, Carol H. Medlin. And my father, and Stuart, and my brother Jim. So that is 4 generations. And that is my grandmother, Mary Helen Medlin. Now we're seated at the table. The singing of the birthday song. And he blew all the candles out. That's Trish, my sister-in-law. And that's Dr. Campbell Pennington, our neighbor. It looks like he's got some exercising to do. Okay, this was taken in the summer, the 4th of July, 1967, the only time I ever wore a 2-piece. I had bought this little pool for Stuart, and so his mother and I decided that we would be in the pool too. Dad is fixing his famous barbecue behind the garage in the back. The barbecued ribs. There's Stuart again. That is Alberta Johnson, my mother's sister-in-law. Looks like a hot day. And Trish and me with piggy tails. I'm not really sure who that man is. There's my grandma and my grandpa. We have a table set up in the back yard. And that's my Uncle Lefty Johnson, my mother's brother. Stuart trying to make a basket. And everybody loves the barbecued ribs. Here we have 4 generations again. Elmer Medlin holding Stuart, my brother Jim, and my grandfather Carol Medlin. And there I am. That's Uncle LV, Steak and Rider. And my cousins Buck and Troy and Judy. There goes Stuart for a ride. This was a man that was in Jim's law class at Illinois. And I can't quite remember his name. These were all taken in Jim and Trish's apartment. Stuart eating his first ear of corn. This is November 1967, and it's my grandma, Mary Helen Medlin's 72nd birthday. And there she is. Mother has the table all set. Her birthday was in November, So this is November 1967. That's my cousin Judy. Looks like we have enough room for everyone. Looks like Stuart's going to blow the candles out instead of his great-grandma. Some football game. Always. Uncle LV playing with Stuart. That was Aunt Margaret. And this is October 28th, the day I got married. Actually, October 5th, 1968. Dad and I are leaving for the church in my green Mustang. That's what we called the flip back in those days. Trish is signing the marriage license. There's Barbara Dalton Fink. There's my mother-in-law, Gert. Dad trying to organize everybody. Good friend Ann Phelps. Trish, Virgie, Sue, Suzanne, Barb, and Vicky. That's right after the ceremony. These are my nieces, my father-in-law, Trish's mother, Lucille, and her father, Matt. These are the nieces, Karen, Nancy, and Sandy. The best man, Roger Wyckoff. We're about to leave the church. We're now going to the Holiday Inn. where the wedding reception was. the the feeding of the cake. These are just various friends of my father's. That's Julia right there with the corsage on, my mother's good friend who sang at my wedding. That's my father's law partner, the Zimmers. Jim Cherry, and my grandpa. The frozen, the swan made out of ice that you see is something that they came to me and asked if they could do that for free. The man that made these wanted some publicity, and he thought that if he did that, a lot of people would see it. It's Dad with Aunt Ida, his Aunt Ida. Now, this is taken in 1969 in Florida. Wayne and I flew down there and spent some time with my mother and dad and Aunt Margaret and Uncle Wally. We were on the East Coast near Hollywood, Florida. Dad going through his routine of running on the beach. And Mother, too. Frank and Gert were there, too. Frank and Gert Wyckoff.